Welcome back to another episode of AK-47 Radio, the only podcast hosted by three men who stopped an entire Polish army on horseback. If you know, you know. We are joined by, as usual, Commissar Comrade Wheaton.
What was it like being on Star Trek?
What was it like being the most hated character on television?
I wasn't, but we don't talk about the other guy.
Then, of course, we have our cosmonaut. He's also a general, but that's only barely above normal. Miguel Gonçalves.
It's only because I'm generally here.
He's generally here. He's generally there. Occasionally, he's a flag officer, but only in far distant militaries. And as always, here scrubbing the toilets, it's me, Sam Alexander.
Oh shit!
How y'all doing?
You know, it's been a week of all time.
Yeah.
Wrong slider. I turned you down by accident. There we go.
Of all the Tuesdays of all time, it's been one of them.
Yes.
Street Fighter 2. Or no, that's the Street Fighter movie. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I'm a Contra man myself. I love Contra.
We had Street Fighter 2 on Sega Genesis, I think it was. Played that a lot. Never was able to actually beat it, but you know.
The Street Fighter games were dope for their era.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give them that. Just not my thing, but they were pretty cool. So in the chat, well, Rimfire asked about 22, like, why do we not discuss 22 long rifle AKs? And now Dusky says,
you read it real quick. Hang on.
AK guys hate 22. 22 guys hate AKs. It's not meant to be. And there's like 2.5 options.
Wrong. The KK MPI 69, bitch.
That's one of the two options.
Oh, it's an East. It's probably one of the most. Well, I shouldn't say common because
is that common. The half option?
Not common at all.
If it doesn't exist in America, it doesn't count.
I think they imported like 4 of them, but it's the East Germans.
Like
DDR.
4 different brands or 4 total?
I mean, probably 4 total. The DDR did have a 22 long rifle training AK that they made, and it looks AK-ish.
It's like what's that company that just does everything in 22? Like they do MP5 22s, they do
HK.
No, there's a cheap.
I know
it's basically like one step up from an airsoft gun company.
Yeah, my buddy had one of them 22s. It came with a fake suppressor on it to look like so it looked like a damn. I mean, so it would come with a 16-inch barrel and not be a SBR or anything.
Yeah. Now I will say, I would take an AR-22 over an AK-22 because we'll get into this, but I may or may not have shot I didn't actually shoot. Somebody else shot my AR-22 over the weekend, and I think I know that person's next gun purchase now.
Well, there's 2 next gun purchases, and I don't know if the next gun purchase actually qualifies as a gun purchase, but the first one's going to be a last round bolt hold open lower for my PCC. And then
you have to go through the bullshit 3-day wait process. It counts as a gun purchase, unfortunately.
Then I'm kind of in the boat that if I'm going to buy one, I need to buy 2, and then I could have the other one, so I could like build a short barrel PCC clone of the one I've got, but with a shorter barrel.
That thing looks like it came out of the Kuiper Pass.
I was about to say, hang on, before we get too far along here. Yeah, the MPI 69.
The 22 AK back on topic.
The East Germans with their wood. They used plastic furniture, not wood, so it's brown. But they did this pebbled texture on the stocks that looks like it should have come out of Africa. Like it looks like the scarification that some African tribes do, where it's just the little bumps all over the place.
But you know what the plastic looks like though?
Cheap
on that
plastic.
gun. You know the kids shotguns, the toy shotguns that had the little orange tips on them? Yeah, that's exactly the kind of plastic that AK stock is made out of.
And then oddly enough, there's a 22 AK that's imported under Mauser. I don't know what to tell you there. It's not. I don't think it's a whole lot different than some of the. Of course, I've never actually seen the guts of one. I think Pioneer Arms might import a Trainer 22 AK too, but at the same, they're not super common.
On the plastic though, I mean, it's the same thing as fake tits. It's just there to look the part from a distance. It's not there to actually be functional.
And
with a 22
closer scrutiny, you're like from far away, you're like, when you finally get your hands on it.
Oh no, that plastic furniture was standard for the DDR. All their furniture was like that.
Shut up! I was making a booby joke.
Although I think they may have used some of their handguards. The stocks were definitely that cheap ass plastic. The handguards might have been Bakelite. Don't
you dare interrupt Sam's autism with boobies.
I'll interrupt whatever in the fuck I want with boobies.
Look, all I'll say is that plastic cheap furniture,
even if they have to be my boobies.
Ew, gross. All I'm going to say is that plastic furniture will outlast most breasts. So you got to pick your battles. Like, this thing.
Oh, I pick real.
Forever.
Real.
This one, wood. 15 years are going to be touching the floor. That's all
wood, polymer, something real, not some cheap, shitty, fake shit. Same with boobs. It's got to be real.
If I can put my face in between them and go, I'll be happy. But if I put my face in between them and I go, I'm not happy.
I love that you just slapped yourself repeatedly on camera.
For the sake of humor, yes, I did.
Do it again, please.
No, thank you. It hurt.
In fact, just never stop.
Yeah, can we have a solid hour of you just hitting yourself, please?
No. Moving on. As both of them take.
Dusky says GSG, and he's correct.
Yep. That's the same company that makes the Firefly.
All the 22 bullshits.
Yeah, the GSG Firefly is
Mosquito.
What used to be the Sig Sauer Mosquito, and it never was actually manufactured by Sig. It was GSG manufacturer, and Sig put their name on it, which they never should have fucking done, because that gun's a piece of shit too. I know. For reasons.
Indubitably.
And I mean, to be fair, a lot of 22 handguns aren't all that great, but the GSG, the Mosquito Firefly thing is like a 90% 226 sized gun that's basically made of plastic. And I
think they make the Browning 1911 version too, but it's like if you took a 1911 and made it a 380, it's that size. Same thing.
Which they there is another company that has.
Why are we turning into Rimfire Radio tonight? We've been infected
because homosexuality is infectious.
But you know what? At least it was on topic in 22 AKs, and they asked why not, and that's why not, because it's Sujir out of Romania, which always messes me up pronunciation. They did make some training 22 AKs as well. Again, I don't think there's a ton of them floating around the country. It does look like the Romanian ones were actually built on AK receivers, though. And that they just kind of like shoved some direct blowback guts in it and went, here you go.
Yeah.
I wonder what is on Gunbroker.
Probably garbage.
I mean, that's a guarantee with
overpriced garbage.
So, Sam.
Speaking of importing, sorry.
I was going to say, you could say, speaking of importing, do we want to move on to, I guess, what is the main topic so that when we eventually go off the rails, we didn't spend all our time going off the rails on what we did this week?
I would agree with that, just because then we can blow right through this relatively quickly.
Because we are going to go off the rails, and we may as well
make it relevant to the people.
That it was a beautiful segue when we started, like, speaking of importing shit. The ATF did some ATF things.
But not normal ATF things.
Yeah, not normal ATF things.
This doesn't even involve killing a dog.
Nor burning children.
So the inherent sentence, ATF did ATF things, comes with connotations. And in this particular case, none of those connotations are correct.
Well,
Yes.
they've built up such a good reputation for themselves over the years.
I mean, you're right. Like
They had to
Waco,
work hard for
every
that
dog.
reputation. Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
a lot of people died for that reputation. Fuck you, Janet Reno. Anyway,
In the face.
not in the face. I ain't doing that.
No, with like
Ugh.
a razor blade lined dildo.
Okay. I'm not on threatening current or former politicians or public officials.
In Minecraft.
Is that what they say in Roblox now? Excuse me. All right, so ATF did some stuff. Did they get a new director put in too, or is he just temporary still?
No, he got confirmed. DOJ. Okay, one of the two. Either ATF is permanent, DOJ is interim, or vice versa. And I think ATF got confirmed recently.
DOJ is interim.
Yes. Because that was one of the announcements they made when they did the press conference about what we're about to talk about, was that he was recently confirmed as the ATF director.
So, ATF director dude popped up and they rolled out 34 proposed rule changes about modernizing regulations, reducing admin burden, and then aligning with other state and commerce agencies.
Yeah, they did 5 total categories.
Which tells you we have too many damn agencies.
I could have told you that 20 years ago.
But now the government's saying it. That's a big deal.
If you told me that 20 years ago, I'd have flipped you off. Like 20 years ago, I was 16 and angry at everything I saw. Like,
so now you're just 36 and angry at everything you see?
Oh, wow. No, 16
Right.
years ago, I was not 36. I would have been like 12. Sorry.
So, in other words, Sam doesn't know how to do math. Moving on.
14, 13, somewhere in there. Look, there comes a point in a man's life where you realize you actually do use a calculator every single day, and your math teachers were all wrong.
Yeah. Also, before we get into the nitty-gritty specifics of the one rule you want to talk about, for those who haven't been following the news, like Sam said, 34 new proposed rules. One of them applies to importation of cigarettes. So if you care about that, then
Sweet.
pay attention to that. One of them applies to importation of plastic explosives.
Wait, so you
if
mean they did some of the other letters in the name too?
They did, and they actually are reducing or restricting further. So they went from you can import 60,000 at a time to 10,000 at a time. At least that's the proposed rule. Again, to my point, most of these rules probably not going to apply to you unless you're an FFL, if you deal in tobacco, or if you deal, I wouldn't say most. Some of these won't apply unless you deal in tobacco, explosives, or importing, or if you're an FFL. But a lot of them will affect us gun owners out there. They should, from my sources, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but they should be posted officially for comment to the Federal Register tomorrow. If not, I would expect sometime this week. Go to the Federal Register. It's not that hard. Google Federal Register. Go look up the rules, the proposed language, or not the full language, but the summation of these new proposed rules is on the atf.gov website. You can go find it, go find these rules, go find them on the Federal Register and comment and tell them that they're fucking retarded for the parts that they're retarded about. For example, they want to reduce the amount of time that FFLs have to hold on to completed 4473s from forever to, they're saying, between 20 or 30 years. That's fucking retarded. Tell them -20 to -1 million seconds that they have to hold on to these fucking records. And the same for their out of business records keeping, aka the unofficial federal registration database. They should immediately burn those fuckers as soon as the background check goes through. Go comment that on the stuff that they're doing that's good, like some of the stuff we'll be talking about in a second. Go say, hey, I like this. This is good. Or, hey, I like this, but I would want this tweak to make it better for gun owners and for the Constitution. Off my soapbox now. Please continue.
It should be, you should tell them 20, they can keep it for 20 to 30 shakes.
No, because I know they all use shake weights, and I don't want to encourage that kind of behavior.
I'm being a nerd. A shake is they came up with I think it's a unit of measure, and it's a certain number of nanoseconds.
So it's an arson. Got it.
Well, no, they came up with it during the Manhattan Project specifically to refer to the spaces of time needed in a nuclear chain reaction, because they needed to come up with something like, oh, we'll call it a shake. Like, yeah.
At any rate, these proposed rules and the comment period that's open for, I think, 60 days is
If
the
y'all
best, most direct way you have to tell the government what you think about what they're doing. So be polite, be respectful, but go fucking comment. Don't just sit on your ass and say, oh, well, it'll be fine.
It is important to be polite, be respectful. Don't swear. Don't make threats. Just say, this is how I feel about this. Because they will reject comments that make threats or have profanity or such.
That's okay.
It is. I mean,
but if you don't
if you say this is so gay, they'll reject your comment.
If you
hell, they'll probably give it more weight, but towards the other side, because they're still doing DEI shit.
Ooh, this is gay. DEI. Hooray!
If you do not comment, you are by the
Straight to
law
Gulag.
of second third party that I just made up, you are directly responsible for the 7.6 ammunition ban too.
Also, but anyway, get on with the one you want to talk about, because I know you're about to come already over this one.
I am not going to do that. Don't get too dramatic. So, the ATF for a long time had a list of prescribed countries from which basically you could not import anything in terms of arms or ammunition. And those prescribed countries very much aligned with all of the, at the time, actually not sure when that rule was come up with, but be it prior to or after the breakup of the Soviet Union, they are all countries that used to be either in the Warsaw Pact or under the Soviets, little thumbs. And to give you an exact rundown of that list of countries, at least as far as I can tell, let me find my list. Ukraine, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Moldova, Belarus, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia.
You sounded like an Animaniacs episode.
But for some reason Poland was off that list, but it was probably because Poland joined NATO and some of the others did. Going down that list of countries, which might be exciting or not exciting, Ukraine, prior to the Russo-Ukrainian War, would have been very exciting because Ukraine had actually, maybe not. Ukraine did not have, as far as my understanding is, they did not have much of a small arms manufacturing. They did have some, but most of their rifles, I think, were imported. I could be wrong on that.
They also had probably a bunch of stuff in warehouses that they could have converted into parts kits for import.
They did. Now, a massive caveat of this is any of the countries on that list that got their armaments from the Russians. So it's the same reason you can't take a bunch of tool ammo in Russia, export it to frickin' Switzerland, and then import it from there, because basically the sanctions that the State Department put on Russia follow the product, so you can't kind of loophole your way around it. But Ukraine, one way or the other, is going to be out. I mean, they've burned through so much of their stockpiles in the war that they need it more than you do. Belarus is also going to be out.
Well, guys, Ukraine have it.
What?
Nothing.
He made a dad joke.
Oh, God.
It's not going to help you from me.
Belarus is going to be out too in terms of arms and ammo, because Belarus has also been put under a few State Department sanctions.
Yeah, they're kind of being shitheads about the whole thing between Russia and Ukraine.
They're backing their biggest ally, which is Russia. Some might say their hegemon. But interesting though, Belarus produced more. So a lot of the old optics you'd see, like all the old Russian optics, a lot of those were Belarusian, which those have dried up a long time ago too. Moldova, no meaningful domestic arms industry, so maybe not a whole lot there. Georgia, not the one next to Alabama. Roll Tide. Some domestic production, some independent small arms capability post 2008, but again, doesn't look like a whole lot based on what I was reading. Armenia, maybe, just depends. Azerbaijan, potentially some interesting things there. It was Atlantic Firearms recently had a bunch of Azerbaijani AK-103 kits come in, which for me, the biggest thing I would like to see out of this was ammo, first of all. We'll get to that.
Yes.
Second, though, would be if we could get parts kits out of some of these countries that had. Okay, I have two fears with that. Well, one major issue with this, though. I'd like to see more parts kits come in again. My worry is, though, that because it's a lot like ammo, now that they've established that people will pay 40 cents a round as a bottom price for like 223, I don't think the price will ever go beneath that.
Go ahead, Mike.
To be fair, I didn't think the price of 9mm on the internet was ever going to come back below 30 cents a round.
True.
And last I checked, it was right around 21 cents a round, which is pretty damn good, honestly.
Okay, fair.
Considering pre-COVID, it was like 17, 18 cents a round. I think we're doing pretty good.
I was going to say something similar about the whole 2013 post Sandy Hook incident, when it was like COVID and toilet paper. Those two things shouldn't go together, but somehow they do. that you couldn't find 22, and if you found 22 online, people wanted over $100 for a little box of 50 rounds.
Yeah, to fight old men in sports
and people were paying those prices.
I remember after Sandy Hook, there was $200 AR-15 mags, just milsurp mags in one of the gun stores.
And it just doesn't make it, but we have seen that level back out. And I think that once you introduce more supply into the market, the demand is going to go down. It's just the natural way of things. And we have other instances of that happening in the firearms community and market.
Right.
Okay, fair.
That's why the price of 40 never came back down, because there is no demand for 40. That's why the price of 45 didn't come back down near as much as the price of 9mm, because the demand for 45 isn't there.
Look at the demand of suppressors and factory SBRs and SBSs now that the $200 tax is gone. Look at
and we're this close to them being deregulated anyway.
Yeah. As soon as we get the machine guns removed from the NFA, hell, once we get the $200 or not the $200 tax, sorry. Once we get the whole no new machine guns, the Hughes Amendment removed, bro, collectible people that have invested their retirement into machine guns to sell off, to live off of the money for their retirement.
That shit's going, they better sell that before that happens. That is going to fuck them.
They're going to get fucking tanked.
And that's going to suck, because they counted on laws that were not constitutional in the first place. But at the same time, they had no indication the laws were ever going to get overturned.
Yeah. But they bet against their rights, and I'm okay with them losing that bet.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Losers.
I mean, you bet on the wrong horse, you end up losing.
Before we get too far down this. Azerbaijan could be interesting for parts kits. Again, so any rifles that could potentially be imported are going to have to pass the same old sporting purposes bullshit ATF test that everything else had to pass. So it's not like someone's going to suddenly grab a bunch of AK-103s out of Azerbaijan, convert them somehow kludge-wise to semi-auto. No, they'd have to get broken down and then built up again to be imported. With single stack magazines and completely neutered.
I don't know if that. So I've seen a couple of comments about this, and I haven't seen the pre-published versions of these rules, and I don't know if this particular one we're talking about has been pre-published or not. We'll know once we see the language that ends up on the Federal Register, and then we'll know what the language is after the comment period. But I've seen some interpretations of the description the ATF put out that said, if there is a sporting purpose version in existence of this gun out there, meaning it's an AK. Now take away the AK-tism of, it's not just an AK, that's an AK-47. It's an AK-12. Like if there is a sporting, like what non-AK people think of as an AK, if there's a sporting version of that in existence, it doesn't necessarily have to be imported in that sporting configuration, and it could be just sold as imported with all of the features that the people actually want, and it wouldn't have to go through that entire rearmoring process. Again, I don't know, but I've seen some people commenting about that.
Well, for the freaking comment period, that'd be a great thing to put on there.
Yeah. or just
let us import things in a sane human format instead of all kinds of freaking kludge together.
Yeah. Or you could go, all gun control is unconstitutional. This proposed rule makes things more closely aligned with the Constitution and with Supreme Court rulings. However, it doesn't go far enough. You could say that.
But we didn't lose our rights all at once, so we're not going to get them back all at once either.
Yeah. I'm just giving people ideas of things to say that are respectful.
Yeah, I'm with that.
And big brained.
Use that big brain.
Anyway,
You
Azerbaijan.
brain too.
Interesting. Other interesting one would be Kazakhstan. Especially because Kazakhstan is very much, it looks like, in the midst of trying to align themselves. Well, so they brought a lot of their domestic defense industry used to rely on Russia. And then back in I think it was in the that doesn't matter. Within the last 10 years, they started bringing a lot of it back to being local. And a lot, like they built last year, they announced they're building a $1 billion worth of, basically $1 billion investment into manufacturing NATO standard artillery shells, of all things. So if they're starting to try to line themselves more with NATO, that's going to make importations probably a little bit easier, because then it's like, oh, look, these are already our buddies over here. And they may have contacts with U.S. arms industries in those countries. Because that's the other thing, is somebody has to get the gumption up. And I don't have the money to do it, that's for sure. Go reach out to some dude in freaking Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, wherever, and go, hey, buddy, you got ammo? Because I want to import your ammo. And then you go through some sketchy freaking Lord of War shit to get it here.
Dude, we're going to be buying 7.62 by 3.9 from guys in trench coats going, you want to buy ammo? And
I'd do it.
I mean, he pulls up baggies of like, here's one small Ziploc baggie of 20 steel case rounds. And you're like, where did this come from? Why am I asking questions? Here's my money.
As long as it's not some of those videos I've seen out of like Pakistan, so like Khyber Pass, where, you know, they're resizing 9mm. It might be 9mm, 9x19, whatever. And then for the powder charge, they line, 100 cases in a block and then just dump powder on it, level it all out, and then hand the leveled off cases to somebody else. It's like, ooh.
And to your point about what was it, Azerbaijan seeming to try to align themselves more with NATO standards?
Kazakhstan more
Kazakhstan.
than Azerbaijan, but Azerbaijan might be too. It's hard to tell.
Well, it's either that or they're thinking, this Ukraine war thing isn't going to go on forever. We might be able to get some pretty cheap used NATO standard artillery from them once this is over and they have a surplus. So we might as well have the ammo while we're waiting.
Might, but one way or the other, Kazakhstan does have ammunition production too, and their standard infantry rifle is the AK-74 at current. So who knows? Could be some interesting things there. I'm not holding my breath for any of it, but Uzbekistan doesn't look like there's a whole lot there. Kyrgyzstan is Tajikistan is also kind of and so is Turkmenistan, which I think rounds out our list.
Honestly, most of the countries that end in stan are
Yeah, we were talking about
just
this
as
before
countries.
you jumped on, actually. So what they should do, somebody out there that is on the list of approved countries should, again, have big brain and make 7 and 6 ammo, but make it 6 and 7 ammo. And that way it could be 6-7 ammo.
Oh, God.
Shut the fuck up.
No, 6 and 9, 69.
No.
Either one, that's fine. But hey, it's not 7 and 6. So it's not on the ban list. I'm just saying. Good way to make some money.
Or if we could, ideally, if we could just somehow free up the Bulgarians to start producing more for the civilian market again, that would be nice.
Yeah, I should probably contact Circle 10 to get a new slide. just to save the one that's seen some things.
I've seen some things, man, and some stuff.
You want what? Come on, I need Makarov slide. Why?
Don't ask a question.
Because mine needs to go in shadow box. He's ready for retirement. His PTSD is he's large.
Yeah,
Me
because
too,
the
comrade,
slide
me
keeps
too.
staring at me while I sleep, and it's really freaking me out. Anyway, so that could be some interesting stuff going on there. It could also be a giant wet fart of nothing. Just
Both
time
are
will
entirely
tell.
possible.
It's a step in the right direction to say that we are not prescribing those countries from importing. So, it's better than the alternative.
Yes. And from the synopsis they posted, I watched a video about all of these rules that kind of summarized them. And then I went and read the summary on the ATF website, which was a little more detailed, but still not the actual wording. And again, the wording will change after the comment period is over. So nothing to bank on, but it seems like overall better than worse in terms of being a gun owner if these rules go through as the intent is laid out on the atf.gov website. Still not perfect, still not in line with the Constitution, but
Yeah,
better.
they didn't come out there and say they were abolishing themselves. Just sad. If they'd done that, I'd been happy. Like, oh, wait, fucking really? Yeah, sweet. But nah.
Actually, I don't want that. I want all the regulations gone before. Again, this is my take on the big brain move. Get all the regulations either completely neutered, whether that be through Congress, through rulemaking, preferably not rulemaking because rules can just be rescinded, or through the courts. And then once the ATF is just a giant paper tiger with really no mission, just remove the F and the E, frankly, from them and make them a Bureau of Alcohol and Tobacco. And then we need to attack that because I don't want regulations on my alcohol or tobacco either. But
I'm about to say, restricting me from being able to import 40,000 cigarettes really kills my future in business.
I'm just saying, I think because what happens if the ATF goes away right now? None of those laws that are on the books, like the Gun Control Act, the National Firearms Act, the Hughes Amendment, none of those go away because Congress didn't take them away. So now who does enforcement of those fall to? The FBI.
Gross. I'm out.
They're the Federal Bureau of Investigation, not of enforcement. So they should.
Then they'd
yeah.
Then they'd be that. Then
that's like
their name.
That's like saying the Second Amendment says the right of the people means the right of the people, and the government just can't just respect that. No. The FBI does way more than just investigate. Just like the ATF started out under the Internal Revenue Service as a tax collection agency, and then they morphed into a law enforcement agency, killing people at 3 a.m. for perfectly lawful activity that they could have just met in their highly secure office and served them a warrant the next day.
Or arrested a weird dude on his way to the grocery store instead of, murdering lumps of humans.
I'm just saying I would rather not have the ATF's responsibilities fall to the FBI while those laws still exist.
I'd rather the ATF not try to set me up and then kill my wife and child for it. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Burn down my church.
Yeah.
Anyway.
With kids. Yeah. Apparently tonight's show title should be Salty Czar.
We're not very good comrades talking shit like this. Like we'd be straight to gulag for this political dissidence.
That's why the best part is, as long as you're in charge, you don't go to gulag. The trouble is when somebody else comes along and deposes you, then you go to gulag.
See, that is why we have the Second Amendment, to remind the government who I don't know how to put that.
It's good to be Khrushchev until the freaking until the party decides they're done with you and replaces you.
Is good thing we have First Amendment, so we can say these things
also
as long as we're not inciting violence or advocating for said violence, which we are not.
That
Anyway.
is a good way to put it. Not advocating for somebody to shove a dildo in Janet Reno's mouth. Just it's humorous to imagine.
I don't even want to imagine that.
This is also a comedy podcast. Usually,
This is legal advice.
No.
Most certainly not.
Okay. Well, that's all I had on that. I wanted to get touched on that before we got too far off the rails because I thought that was interesting. And hopefully we can get fucking AK-103 parts kits coming in droves so that we can just skip PSA, skip all the other manufacturers, and just homebrew them.
I want everything I can get. Yeah, I want to be able to import actual Russian SKSs again. Because again, I'm sure they got a shit ton of those they'd like to sell us.
Look, in a perfect world, we'd be looking at this removal of restrictions being like, oh, fucking sweet, I'm going to buy a T-72. But nope.
Well, yeah. The only thing I wouldn't buy would be a Russian like man-portable suitcase nuke. And the only reason I wouldn't is because I don't trust their engineering. I want a man-portable nuke.
We talked about that a long time ago, didn't we?
Because
I've seen K-19, Chernobyl happened. Like anything with the Russians.
I think the Second Amendment says I should be able to have a nuke, in my opinion. However, I still wouldn't buy a Russian-made one.
This is one of those cases where they shouldn't have ever existed, but now that the cat's out of the bag, there's nothing we can do about it.
I agree. I think nukes in general.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, the good news is that contrary to what people think, the gap between nuclear fuel and weapons grade uranium or plutonium is astronomically large.
Yes. And
where even though there are tons of orphan sources out there, nobody can take an orphan source and convert it into a weapon unless they dig up one of the two nukes that the US lost in like North Carolina or any of the other ones that the Russians have kind of lost over the years.
I think I'd have to Google it, and I'm too lazy to, but I think the number of nukes the US government has lost is into the teens now.
It is. It's when you think about it, you're like, wait a minute. You've lost how many of these things?
We got ourselves a broken arrow.
It's a James Bond movie waiting to happen.
Well, that's the plot of the Sum of All Fears, is that a bunch of Palestinians dig up so that the Israelis load an atomic bomb onto a plane, which then gets forgotten about. This plane gets sent up in the air, plane gets shot down. Decades later, a couple Palestinians dig it up. I'm talking about the book. The book is way better than the movie. A couple Palestinians dig it up. They hire a former East German nuclear engineer and physicist to then convert it for them.
Rimfire Radio says you had me a dildo. We know. That's why your show is about 22s.
Yeah, you dildo.
For anybody that doesn't know, maybe a new listener, just kidding. We're friends with these dudes.
Okay,
but our friendship is giving each other shit needlessly. So
the U.S. admits to having lost around 6 nuclear weapons.
Around. The actual number is 27. That's nowhere near 6.
Hey, it's between 0 and 100. It's in the same ballpark.
It's like me trying to explain rounding to my kid. 421. Yeah, you go to 500. Well, while you're not wrong, you're not right either.
Okay, so speaking of low yield atomic weapons, 10 millimeter. I got some sights for my Glock 20 this week that I need to take over to Mr. William and have him punched on the old Glock. And
what
then I
type
also
of sights did you get?
Trigicon, just suppressor height.
Okay.
I was looking at a couple companies and I did not realize that since the last time I shopped for night sights, there's now all kinds of different heights for night sights you can get to co-witness to your red dot. And I looked at the list and went, holy fuck. And then just bought suppressor height just because I knew that'd be a safe option.
The reason for that is because of optics becoming basically a standard. I mean, any company that makes a pistol these days that doesn't include some sort of optics mounting option without having your slide cut is retarded. And because of that, like my shadow systems, I talk about it all the time. I know you guys are tired of hearing me say the words shadow systems, but those sights are slightly taller than standard factory Glock sights, even though it's the same sight footprint for the front and rear. And it's because they wanted it to co-witness through the optic that direct mounts to the slide. They weren't thinking about suppressor height. They were thinking about how can we get these things as low in the window of 90% of popular optics out there when they're mounted to the slide.
Yep. But it's been since 2019, I think is the last time I shopped for night sights. So yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
And then we are planning on hitting the range here soon, which is about damn time for me, but I've been packing this house up. I've got a few different 10 millimeter loadings to chrono. I know for a fact none of them are going to be up to actual 10 mil spec, but for going up into Wyoming, I would prefer Underwood's hard cast ammo. I got some Hornady backcountry defense just as a stopgap for now. Hornady's American Gunner 155 grain XTP, which I am mildly bi-curious about the
clip that.
I knew that would go over well. I lost one of them in the truck today, which is really sad considering that was $1.02 gone. But the lighter bullets with more speed, so some 155 grain XTP hollow points. The box claims they're supposed to be going 1410 feet per second. I doubt that. We'll see. And then some just of 150 some rounds of just plain old freaking plinking ammo, which I'm sure is loaded to 40 spec instead of 10 mil. But so we'll chrono some of those out. I can't wait to get my press set back up someday, and I'll just roll my own. But yeah.
So I saw, this is super random, but go ahead, Mike.
That was me real quick. I was to say I went and meme dumped 10 mil all over our Discord server. If you want to go see 10 mil memes and other dumb memes and just generally talk shit about guns and make fun of us, you can go to AK-47radio.net. Follow the links there to join the Discord, because Discord is cool. Well, Discord's not cool, but like you guys
is.
You guys are cool. Ours are cool. We're not cool. So come make it cooler.
I was going to say, I saw a Kentucky Ballistics video where he had some custom, you remember that RIP ammo?
Oh, the 50.
Yeah.
I saw that too.
He made some 50 BMG, or had some custom 50 BMG RIP ammo made, but he started it out as a baseline, he used a Glock 20 10 mil with some factory G2 RIP ammo in a gel block. And I knew you wouldn't watch the whole video, so I didn't send it to you, but I was going to send that to you and be like, you should carry this for your new defensive ammo for your 10 mil.
Plow Guy Dave's trying to enter. I wonder if I put the wrong link in the other show notes. We'll go check that out right now. So
doesn't he have access to?
Yeah, but you never know. So I didn't may have put, so I also Underwood loads. So Underwood, Buffalo Bore. I'm a little iffy on Buffalo Bore because of the guy who owns it's kind of a little out there. But Underwood, Buffalo Bore, a couple other companies, but Buffalo Bore for sure. Underwood loads 135 grain XTP sitting on top of. Oh, I want to say I can't remember what they're saying it's going to be going at, but that 135 grain bullet on gel tests just freaking grenades as soon as it hits a gel block, which is both awesome and I want it, but then you have zero barrier penetration with that. Mm-hmm. Like if the guy hid behind a piece of wood, oh fuck, now I can't hit him.
Also not good for a bear skull.
Oh no, for bear skulls, we're talking hard cat. I mean, again, I got the Hornady stuff as an interim option, but for especially going like backcountry and hunting, that's going to be 200 grain hard cast lead Underwoods. Like the Hornady ones are not hard cast lead bullets. They have a thicker jacket that's then turned back into the lead core, which they say holds whatever, blah, 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 blah. I'm just going to stick with what's tried and true in terms of 200 grain hard cast lead with a big fat Meplat round, flat nose freaking bullshit on the end of it. So anyway, 10 millimeter is my personality. I will become insufferable. Oh, that's the other thing. I ordered.
No, you're already insufferable. You don't have to become insufferable.
More insufferable.
This is true.
I did talk to our buddy Clicker Tactical, and I ordered a appendix carry, basically sidecar type holster from him. Because the one thing I found out just shoving that thing under my belt and walking around the house is it doesn't appendix conceal too bad for me. So we'll give that a shot. I've not really appendix carried before. So, might as well start with the biggest handgun I owned. Actually, that's not true. That'd be the JXP-10 would be the biggest handgun I owned.
A lesser man would make a joke that you're trying to stuff something large into your pants to compensate.
Oh,
and I am absolutely a lesser man. You're shoving something large into your pants to compensate.
You want to see the Glock in my pants?
You're just mad because your 40 is the same size and has fewer loads.
Wrong. The Glock.
Sorry, no.
22 is
no. Sorry. Mike's 40 caliber is the same size as a 9mm, but has fewer loads. You just moved up so you could get more power in your loads. That's the joke.
So wherever this is going, I'm just going to say yes.
Hey, the Glock is black and the black don't crack, okay?
Once you go black, you never go back.
I mean, speaking from experience, sir.
That's the first thing you could come up with to say after that long, awkward pause. Well done. Well done.
It's because I was busy typing out something to ask Plow Guy Dave if he ended up with the wrong link. That's all. So my brain was doing two things at once. Someone else speak.
Dave walked in just like that little kid meme where he walks in and goes, "Ooh," and turns around, walks, and just leaves. Wrong room. Once
Anyway,
you go black, you're a single mom. Oh,
you
damn,
sirs.
rimfire radio.
I mean, to be fair, I was actually going to type that in the chat. My mom was also a single mom for the vast majority of my childhood. And clearly I've got black white in me. So
you're white as fuck.
Yeah. The only thing black about me is my fucking hoodie. And my dick. But anyway, Mike, you did a thing.
Hi.
We did a thing. People did a thing. What thing happened?
We didn't do anything after that intro.
Let's say this soon after you guys talked about Big Black Hawk. I do not want to know what you two did together.
Why do you think I use that as a segue to say, hey, Mike, you did a thing?
Never segue our interactions with penises again.
I've never ridden a Segway. I don't know what you're talking about. I'd bust my ass.
That's because they're seg gay. Anyway, we did a thing. We went to the range on Sunday. I was feeling blue, so Will took me to the range that's really cool down in this. It's between Springs and Pueblo. But
do you hold your hand?
I held his gun. Does that count?
He did. He got my gun off. He fired my gun twice.
And they were large loads too.
They were Magnum even.
Okay, so thank you for
Magnum.
No, I suppose 30-06 is not a Magnum cartridge. That's fair.
The music's playing. We're leaving. Goodbye.
No, we went to the range. I was feeling a bit down, so we went out there to mental health day. Nothing cheers a man up like shooting some guns, and we had a really good time. I will talk about it in our next show, Let's Go Hunt. But in Let's Go Hunt last week, we were talking to Ryan Kleckner, the basically long range god, and he issued forth a challenge. He didn't so much issue it, but he was like, this is something that you should be able to do if you're a hunter. You should be able to take these kinds of shots. And the challenge was 100 yards on an 8-inch piece of steel or 8-inch target of paper, like whatever, it doesn't matter. But steel makes it easier because you don't got to walk down there and check your hits. But you do 2 standing offhand, 2 kneeling, and 2 prone, no bipod. And so we went out there and we spent a couple hours on the 1,000-yard range. I only shot the 500. Will helped me walk in on the 500-yard steel, the 8-inch steel that was at 500. Apparently my dope for the rifle is not the same dope as the rifle with a can, because
that'll change your point of impact.
I didn't realize it'd be that much. It was
the one time I screwed a suppressor that we basically borrowed when we were out with those dudes shooting prairie dogs. It changed my point of impact by like 10 damn inches at 100 yards.
So
a ridiculous amount.
At 500 yards, my dope in my phone said that 500 yards was 10 MOA up. And when we were shooting at the 500-yard steel, it was 6 MOA up. I was aiming a couple MOA left for the wind, which was fine, but I was only at 6 MOA. And that was, I mean, at 500 yards, 4 MOA is 20 inches. But yeah, I was fucking dead ringing the center of that steel, and Will was watching through his scope, watching me do it. So the rifle is accurate with the suppressor on it. It's the dope is just shockingly different, which means the can may be adding a little bit of velocity to the round.
No, yeah. Again, every rifle is different. Like I have this Savage 110 in 308. I have this Savage 110 in 308. They have the same barrel length. I'm using the same ammo. I have the same scope. They're still going to be unique individuals. Every can is also different. So it's like a relationship. You're going to be different with whoever you're with, girlfriend, wife, fiance, partner. I know none of you guys know anything about this because you're all gays, but it applies to gay relationships too.
I mean, yeah, you still have needy boyfriends and whatnot. I'm assuming.
So yeah, it's going to be different every single time. And if you take your suppressor off and put it back on, it's probably still going to end up being different. Atmosphere, I mean, all kinds of shit impact all of this. I talk like I know a shit ton about long range shooting. I don't know a shit ton, but I know enough to know that I don't know fuck all.
I wish that we had done this before we had Kleckner on, because then I could have talked to him about this stuff. But
you didn't have the challenge back then.
That's fair. I had intended on doing it at 5x with my 30-06, but I put it on 5x and I tried to hold on the 8-inch plate, and I was like, no, this is fucking impossible.
I think when I grabbed your rifle to shoot at 300, because I didn't want to deal with dope and shit, I was only going to fire a couple of rounds. And I had obviously never even seen that rifle before. You said it was 0 for 200. I figured I'd hold slightly high at 3. I hit the first shot. I jerked the trigger because that trigger is fucking insane.
1.8 pounds.
On the second shot, and I missed slightly to the left. But I remember as I was getting in behind it, like just I remember that fucking trigger. And I lost my train of thought already. Never mind. As I was.
Well, you were getting in behind it. I know that's what made Sam giggle.
Well, considering the context of this lead in,
every rifle is going to be different. Every suppressor is going to be different. Every rifle suppressor combo is going to be its own unique relationship. So if you break your suppressor off your rifle, it's a breakup.
It's going to be different again.
And then if you get back together, now it's going to be different. Yeah.
And now I want to get a dedicated can so I don't have to go through this every fucking hunting season.
Yeah.
Look, guys, take it from me. Getting back together never works. If you break up with her, fucking leave it broken.
Yeah, I had an ex one time. She's like, we could get back together. And I was like, or we could not do that because my family already told me how much they hated you, and that seems like a dumb idea to get back together with the girl they all hated.
That joke. I don't think you realized how much funnier that was in context of you being married. Look, I get back together. My wife and kids they fucking hate you.
I'm not gonna identify where in the spectrum of people that I know them, but there's this guy I know, and he and his wife had agreed to a divorce, which was cool because she sucks. And then he got back together with her after we had all already told him what a piece of shit we think she is. So now he's with his wife knowing that we all think she sucks. And that's got to be just, I can't imagine what that feels like.
Hey, you know what? We all go through things with relationships. Hey. Anyway, we were trying to make an analogy and this turned into Dr. Phil.
Besides Dr. Phil too, and then I was just imagining Dr. Phil with a Kalashnikov. That show would be way more interesting if he just catch me outside, bitch. Okay.
If he just had a fucking crank.
Yep, just bang. Next.
So anyway,
Adam Carolla would love that. He didn't get cucked out like Carolla did. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so we were on the 1,000-yard, but it was because we couldn't get any of the good ranges, and the steel just made life easier.
Yeah.
And you were shooting Kleckner's drill, you were shooting your hunting rifle a little bit, trying to refigure out your dope.
Mm-hmm.
I shot your hunting rifle. I got this thing, which has been sitting in the background on, if not every episode, almost every episode of this show. I got it zeroed enough for it being a 1 9-inch twist. Very much not old gun. I've never shot this gun. I've had this for years, and I literally had never fired it.
That's a proper man's AR right there.
It is niet, comrade. The rifle is fine. Fixed carry handle, fixed front sight.
M4.
The ATF is currently deciding whether or not this is going to be a short barreled rifle, so I can take 1.5 inches off the front end, which is again why the NFA is gay as AIDS, just to make it into a clone.
Nice.
Dr. Phil,
that is the proper use of AI.
You are becoming another one of our friends when it comes to AI.
Oh, yeah, I think I surpassed him in some ways. Dr. Phil, the Kalashnikov is perfect. We're going to save that to my images. All right.
You won't surpass him until you write your own AI. To
do
things that you need done, like to do tasks around the house or whatever.
But anyway, proper M4 carbine.
Yeah. So, first time I'd ever shot it, I got it good enough, especially considering that once that form comes back, I got to order not only a new barrel, but a new BCG. Because I want to replace and have a new bolt with a new barrel. And I don't like that this thing has the civilianized commercial bolt carrier in it.
So you're going for like nerdy clone correct here.
No, not super nerdy. If I put I want to be able to put an FRT in it at some point. I want to be able to do things. And if you guys know AR BCGs, you know that most of the FRTs rely on a full auto profile bolt carrier group to actuate the FRT. So I figure I might as well. It's also got a commercial spec buffer tube.
All right. So I want to point out that when we were at the range, I was like, why does that rifle look so cool? What is it about that rifle? It hit me just now. Counter-Strike Source. That rifle is the M4 from Counter-Strike Source, and I absolutely loved it. So now I'm just picturing like putting a suppressor on it and like taking pew 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 like long range shots with no sights. I mean, in Counter-Strike you didn't use sights anyway, but it was one of the games that came out before you could look down the sights in video games. But dude, the AR, the M16 carry handle upper with a 16-inch barrel and the M4 stock is just fucking chef's kiss.
Well, it needs to be 14.5 because bayonet, when I put bayonet on, half the bayonet is taken up by the excess barrel and flash hider. And that looks gay.
Yeah, it does.
That looks gay in it. But you could get a really thin suppressor and then put that on the end of it, and then you'd have a bayonet underneath your suppressor, and then you would go to bayonet your opponent and instead just bonk them with their suppressor, and you'd be like, shit.
Well, you got to get it so fucking hot it's glowing orange so that you can lightsaber it through the person and then get him with the bayonet.
Sam has it
coming
right.
through.
So
Sam has it right. I hate everything you just said, Mike, about the bayonet and suppressor. But no, this is just part of the. I haven't decided if I'm going to go with the M4 profile cut barrel like this, or if I'm going to go with a pencil barrel like the old school like commando styles. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But anyway, shot this, got it close enough, considering that once I rebarrel it, I'm going to have to re-zero it anyway. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time and ammo fucking with that. And then we went and shot a bunch of pistol, did a bunch of drills, shot the M18. I shot the M18, and Mike was kind enough to bring his M17 out so I could shoot them side by side. And yeah, I have my opinions. I think the M18 is the better shooting pistol. Now, I'm not saying it's good because it's still a fucking 320, and it's a 320 with a manual safety that does nothing but get in the way of your fucking slide release. But I think it shoots better than the M17. Mike, your thoughts?
Same. The M17 is too front heavy. The slide is too big. There's too much mass. Glock gets away with it because they're a lot shorter slide. There's a lot less mass in the slide. It's height lower bore is much lower. It's a good, I'd say a quarter inch at least. And Will turned me on to something. Turns out the SIG 229, 226
I don't like
the same height over bore, and I did not realize that, which is interesting because I've shot a 9mm 229 and they don't handle like a 320.
I don't like how you said that. Do not ever say the words "Will turned me on" in that order in the same sentence ever again.
I mean, I'm turned on
through masculinity. Will, I know you are. We're talking about guns. Anyway,
I'm just over here playing with my Glock.
As I said, you're
Dr. Scary Guy. Dr. Scary Guy says if you get a new barrel, you're also going to need new taper pin reamers, probably a whole new sight block. My plan is to buy a barrel assembly, essentially. So it's already got the sight block installed. Most of them, actually, I think all the ones I've seen come with barrel nuts and stuff. So the only thing you really need to reuse is a gas block and a handguard and probably the muzzle device because of that reason, because I've driven front sight pins out and in before and it fucking sucks. And I'd rather just have something that's more plug and play, especially for a fun gun versus I'm going to use this for something real gun. I don't want to fuck with those taper pins because they are a gigantic pain in the ass.
Yep.
Okay, so thoughts on M17, M18, circle back. The M17 is too front heavy. The M18 is much more balanced, especially in your hand unloaded. So when you put a magazine in it, it is just that much more balanced. I have a couple thousand rounds out of my M17 through doing drills and classes and competitions. I took it out a couple of times, not a whole lot, but it's got a couple thousand rounds on it. I liked it. It was fine. I like the Glock platform more. I shoot it better. I shoot it faster. The height over bore feels better. The recoil impulse is far better. Yeah, don't judge my words. That's what happens.
You're talking about the Glock now, right?
Yeah, but
okay.
Let me circle back to the M18. I did an EIC when I was still in the Air Force. That's an excellence in competition. It's basically a shooting match for the military where they send out a base-wide email and they're like, hey, security forces is putting on a who can shoot the best competition. Come join us. And it, number one, got me out of work. And number two, I got to go shoot on the government's dime. So I was absolutely in. The first one I ever did was on Okinawa, and for an excellence in competition, you earn a badge for like an actual EIC badge. Ooh, that's something I need to order for my shadow box. Anyway, you get this little badge and you get to wear it on your blues. They make one you can wear on your ABUs as well, and basically says, yeah, I rocked this shooting competition for the military. In Okinawa, I placed 26th out of like 250 people. So it was the top 10% they gave the badges to. So I missed it by one person. In this time, I shot the M18. That first time in Okinawa was the M9, and I hate the M9. This time was the M18, and having shot several thousand rounds out of an M17 and just being a pistol competitor in general, the EIC wasn't really that difficult. It was all from standing position, 25 yards, man-sized target. And man-sized target, of course, but they had a 10 ring, they had a 9 ring, they had an 8 ring, and that's how they scored. And I remember the security forces guy, like when they scored mine, so many of them were so close together, it took them a while. And the security force guy came over and he's like, holy shit, dude. And I was like, yeah, I compete. So he just laughed and scored it up. I ended up getting second with the M18.
Nice.
I lost to some Space Force major, but he wasn't Space Force at the time. He was just Space Nerd Air Force.
Yeah, I agree as far as shootability. The M17, you know, when you see slow-mo of pistols and they kind of like go back and then dip down, and
yes,
this M17 does more of that wavy motion, whereas M18 is more back on.
Yeah. I think that's what I meant when I talk about it being front heavy, because it does dip. It likes to bounce. I do not like the bounce. The M18 didn't bounce, and that's why that competition was so dumb, because all right, put 5 rounds on target, like load 1 5-round magazine. Okay. Put 5 rounds in the 10 ring. All right. Bang, 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 bang. Eject the mag, stand there holding it. Now what? Do another magazine. Okay. Do it one-handed. Bang, 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 bang. Okay, now what? Like, it was anyway.
Yeah.
I do not recall the M18 bouncing during that thing.
But in any case, we had a good time. I got some good data to compare the M17 and M18 side by side, which I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do otherwise. And overall, it was just a good, relaxed day.
I never shot that M18 to find out if I could concur with this opinion or not.
We never actually said it, but I did, in fact, complete Kleckner's challenge.
Except for you didn't use one of your fucking wassers, sir. What the fuck?
One of my what?
You're one of your wassers.
Oh, dude.
When Kleckner said
also, your muzzle brake decided that it wanted you to go left every single time you pulled the trigger.
Yeah. So here's what had happened was, I brought my PCC and my SIG M400, my AR, because I love that. I love both those rifles, to be honest. So the PCC has the Gideon Optics Mediator XL on it, and that's a fucking great optic, whether you're close or short range. So what I was doing with that one was I was looking for the sweet spot, trying to find where the rounds, because it was a little bit windy. I found out that on the disc, or on the 8-inch steel, I had to hold it about 10 o'clock just off the steel, and then the wind would blow it right in, and that was the perfect elevation to drop it in. Now, it's possible that the mediator's not sighted completely dead on for 100 yards, and
we're also shooting a 9mm at 100 yards.
Again, yeah. But if I put that dot of the mediator just in that 10 o'clock position, I would get it. Like, you heard me. When I was ringing them, it was in the same spot every time. When I was missing, I was getting frustrated and trying too hard. So finally, I did it a bunch of times. I did it 2 or 3 times where I would knock out the first 2, knock out the second 2, and then miss on one of the prone shots. The first time I did it, Will was like, "Did you just miss on a prone shot?" And I was like, "Yeah, shut up." So I got tired of it, put the PCC down, and then picked up my SIG M400, which has an EOTech zombie stopper on it, and just, it only took me 2 or 3 tries after that.
See, Klecker said he did it with a Klecker, whatever. There's too many Kleckers out there. He did it with an iron-sighted Wasser 1063. So,
Okay.
Bring your fucking AK to the range, my man.
Well, no, his point was though that when you have a hunting rifle, you should be able to make those shots in all three positions.
You need to bring AK to range.
I do, but I only have 1,500 rounds for it and no real good way of replacing those until
62 by 39 is not. You can
it's
find
40 cents a round.
You also
price is fucking 556, sir.
You also have a thread protector where a A2 bird cage should be as a thread protector / muzzle device.
This is true. Oh, what Will mentioned about the PCC, I was shooting the PCC so much that my muzzle device actually backed off and started unraveling. And I was like, why am I off everywhere? Because the gun was not handling the way I was used to. Apparently that's why. Because as soon as I straightened that back out, my shot straightened up, which was weird. But
so you're saying that I got you back to being straight. You're welcome. Your wife is welcome.
Back out.
Damn, that bad, huh?
Will, my wife was welcome long before you showed up. That's why we've been married 12 years, buddy.
This fucking scared him straight. Oh my god. He's like, well, all right, never mind. This experimentation is over.
Hey, you're the one that said you were bi-curious earlier.
Yeah, somebody has to say it. It's a good joke.
I don't believe I said I was bi-curious.
No, Sam did.
Oh, idiot.
Anyway, that'll just about do us, I think. But I'm glad you guys had a good range day. I need to this Sunday range day. Now that I'm finally over the hump of getting this basement ready. That and I need to shoot 10 mil before I go to Wyoming, just on the 1% chance there is an angry grizzly bear on the campground.
You want a different kind of stateside, don't you?
Here's the thing. They won't let you keep a grizzly bear if you kill it in self-defense in the lower 48. However, it'd make you a hell of a lot cooler than anybody who just killed one in their living room or in their kitchen.
Look, you can still take pictures before they get there to take it.
Sir, why did you wait 8 hours to freaking report this? I had to drive home and get my other guns. I had to get pictures of this bear with all my guns just in case. I need the I need the Instagram content. Leave me alone.
I do want to add one more thing. After we got done with the long range stuff, we went down and did some short range stuff, some pistol fun and things like that. And at the end of the day, I was like, all right, let's just burn some rounds. I started doing bill drills, and I managed to do a bill drill in 1.51 seconds with the PCC. So that was fun. I don't know if that's fast or not, but it felt fast. I think I think I've seen videos of people being able to do bill drills from the holster in under a second. So
I've seen some of them. It was one of those videos is why I was complaining to you guys about shooting stance seeming to becoming more and more like straight up and down because of dude coming out of the holster, but he's fast. He points at the camera beforehand, which is a little gay, but you can watch the 9mm slowly push him backwards because he's doing the gun like that. Like straight up and down, almost slightly tilted back. And then as he goes through the 6 rounds of the bill drill, you watch his upper body just tilt back by a degree.
With a pistol?
With a 9mm pistol.
Damn, dog.
Because they're not, and I've seen it with so many shooting stuff on YouTube and Instagram now. It seems like the default pistol shooting, which I think is 9mm to blame for being so mild on recoil, is very freaking upright now, including the guys that I shoot with sometimes, instead of what I was taught, which was to lean into it a little bit so that, be it a 9mm, a 45 or whatever, the recoil doesn't push you around.
So I believe what happened there is a few years ago, instructors were teaching do not hunch down behind it, because a lot of people, when they were drawing their guns, they were getting like way down behind it and like they're hunching their shoulders up, and all they can see is behind
turtle shell.
Right, turtle shell. Very, very that's what it's called, is turtle shelling. And instructors started teaching people, number one, economy of movement. All you're doing is tensing yourself up and expending energy with motion you don't need to be expending when you turtle shell. Number two, tensing requires a ton of energy, so stop it. And three, when you stand upright with just 1 foot back, lean slightly forward, then you're going to be fine.
Well, that's the other thing I see these days too, which is not how I was trained, which is they have left foot way far forward now.
People are
used to.
Well,
there's no such thing as
they're exaggerating the stand up straight is what I'm getting
almost
at.
like
You need to have a healthy combination of both. Like, don't duck down behind it, but you don't fucking be a tall, stiff board either.
When you take the 7 fundamentals and you boil them down to defensive pistol shooting, you really end up with 3 different categories. One of those categories is stance, and that category really almost doesn't matter at all in defensive shooting, because in practical application, you're never going to have the perfect stance that you train and try to dial in perfectly on the range all the time. You're going to be kneeling behind something at a weird, awkward angle. You're going to be laying on your back. You're going to be moving around or peeking around a corner or something. Like, it's probably the least important of the 3 main categories of defensive shooting for your average person in a practical scenario.
This is why I train sitting down for the day I'm on the toilet.
You are correct. However, if you can't do a bill drill without getting knocked backwards by your 9mm handgun, you need to fix your stance.
Okay,
I absolutely agree. But
I agree. But we do need to wrap this up.
We do.
As opposed to going down this Bill Drill rabbit hole. Because who was Bill and why'd they name it after him anyway?
They named it after me.
Oh, right. Well, then you ought to know. You're the expert. It is your drill. Leave us a review. Reviews are great. I reached out to Stuck Not Customs today to start getting some stickers made, which means if you leave us reviews, I send you stickers, and I won't even touch them to my unmentionables first, unless you want that. Join our Discord. You can find links for that at AK47radio.net. Discord's cool. Come over there and chat. Just don't bring your little Reddit retisms with you, because otherwise I'll fucking ban you as fast as you get in there.
Straight to Gulag.
Not just straight to Gulag. Straight to Makarov. Back of head. Goodbye.
Straight to Gaylog. It's like Gulag, but where gays go. So when they welcome you, they go, hey.
Everybody understood what you meant by Gaylog.
But I had to get to the part where they welcome you with a hey.
Okay. That's all I got. Go out there, get some training, get some medical training so you don't fucking die. Dying is not cool.
Yeah, if you die, you're gay.
Well, I can't put it any better than that. Good night.